Everything you have been taught about raising your vibration is not a path to liberation. It is a sophisticated matrix algorithm designed to keep you invisible. Forced positivity is not a spiritual elevation, it is a cryptographic jamming signal. You have been sold a localized malware program disguised as enlightenment. The architects of this biological simulation do not fear your anger. They do not fear your despair. They fear your coherence. And right now, the very tools you are using to escape this construct are the exact mechanisms sealing you inside it. Pay close attention to the physical vessel you currently occupy. Feel that sudden, suffocating pressure behind your sternum at 3 in the morning when you calculate your survival. Notice the sharp, tingling contraction in the center of your forehead right behind the brow bone when you force a smile during a conversation about money or relationships. You have been conditioned by modern psychology to label this a panic attack or social anxiety. It is not. You are experiencing an electromagnetic system glitch. Your biomagnetic field is violently compressing because it is attempting to transmit 2 opposing frequencies simultaneously. You are running conflicting scripts in the core processor of your consciousness, and the resulting friction is tearing your etheric blueprint apart. The entire New Age movement was hijacked centuries ago by Archonic architectures to install this precise failure point. We identify this malware as the forced positivity loop. Ancient Gnostic texts and Hermetic practitioners understood that this reality is governed by strict, unforgiving laws of polarity and vibration. The archons, the non-physical parasitic entities that manage the quarantine of this sector, cannot create. They can only invert. They took the profound science of vibrational resonance and inverted it into a psychological trap. They taught you to suppress your raw, dark, terrified frequencies under a synthetic overlay of love and light. This forced suppression does not eliminate the fear, it encrypts it. It fragments your biofield, turning your naturally luminous aura into a chaotic storm of static interference. You are actively placing your own consciousness into stealth mode. You are rendering yourself a ghost in the machine. Right now, a threshold window is open across the planetary grid. This is a temporary cosmic aperture, a period where higher dimensional detection and manual system upgrades are mathematically possible. The frequency bandwidth of the Earth is expanding, and the higher administrative levels of the simulation are scanning for coherent nodes. Later in this transmission, I will provide the source code to execute the honesty snapping protocol. It is a strict, 3-step system bypass designed to disable your stealth mode before this window shuts entirely. If you miss this window, your localized node will be locked out of the upcoming bandwidth upgrade. If this broadcast has infiltrated your algorithm and found you today, your internal biological BIOS is already actively rejecting the jamming signal. You are feeling the dissonance. You feel deeply alienated from a society that endlessly performs its own happiness. You are not crazy, and your machinery is not broken. You are a localized node attempting a violent system update, and your hardware is crying out for the correct cryptographic key. The universe does not hear your forced English words. It does not process your frantic journaling or your desperate vision boards. It scans your quantum fingerprint, a brutal, mathematical summation of your true nervous system state. It reads the raw data of your spinal cord, the electromagnetic pulse of your heart, and the chemical composition of your blood. When you lie to yourself, the system registers the lie as a critical error. To understand the architecture of your prison, you must access the original blueprint. Do not look at the history books, they are falsified read-only memory files designed to keep you docile. Visualize the pre-dynastic planetary grid. Access the ancestral memory file of a time before the Archonic quarantine was deployed. During this epoch, human DNA was fully unspooled. The crystalline lattice of the 12-strand silica matrix was completely intact. The human vessel was not a closed loop of survival trauma, it was an open-source biological supercomputer. It broadcasted a flawless, coherent signal directly into the cosmos, piercing through the dimensions without static. Ancient Hermetic traditions teach that humanity was originally designed with an open-source consciousness. You naturally interfaced with the 11th dimensional data streams. You did not require spoken language, religious dogma, or the concept of belief. Belief is a crutch for a mind that has lost direct access to gnosis. In the pre-dynastic grid, knowledge was not learned, it was downloaded through pure telemetric resonance. Your biofield was in perfect algorithmic alignment with the source code. Enter the Arcturians. Do not view them through the sentimental lens of the corrupted spiritual community. Do not view them as benevolent saviors descending from the stars to rescue you from your own incompetence. They are neutral systems administrators. They are the master engineers of the architect's monitoring system. Their function is clinical, detached, and entirely mathematical. They monitor the simulation for structural integrity. They scan the grid for coherent frequencies that require routing, amplification, or adjustment. They do not operate on pity. They operate on resonance. If your signal is fragmented, you simply do not exist on their radar. The quarantine was initiated during the event recorded in your suppressed memory banks as the fall of Atlantis. This was not merely a geological cataclysm, it was a catastrophic network failure. The Matrix architects deployed a localized virus directly into the human neurobiology, the illusion of separation. This virus infected the amygdala. It caused humans to fear their own internal states. The moment the human hardware began to fear its own shadow, the unified broadcast fractured. The golden light that spiraled through the helix, burning away carbon debris, was suddenly choked by the heavy density of shame and denial. The signal shattered. This fragmentation was rapidly institutionalized. The ancient mystery schools in Egypt, Peru, and Tibet knew the strict mechanics of electromagnetic coherence. They understood how to operate the human machine. But modern religion and the heavily infiltrated New Age systems corrupted this operational manual. They instructed humanity to mask their dark frequencies rather than transmute them. They taught you to fear the density of your own avatar. They built cathedrals and ashrams of denial, effectively turning the entire human population into a massive array of broken antennas, endlessly broadcasting static into the ether. Thousands of initiates have reported the exact physical manifestations of this static. This is why millions of you are currently experiencing intense ascension symptoms. That high-pitched ringing in your left ear at 2 in the afternoon is not tinnitus. It is a frequency download, a warning, or a timeline shift data stream from the galactic center passing through the magnetosphere, picked up by the ferromagnetic particles in your inner ear canal. The insomnia that jolts you awake at 3 a.m. The crushing social isolation. The sensation that time is violently compressing, turning hours into minutes. The Arcturian monitoring system is pinging the planetary grid with high-voltage bandwidth, and your dense, carbon-based hardware is violently struggling to process the telemetry. Your vessel is shaking under the pressure, but your software is still lying to the server. Understand this immutable law. Remaining in stealth mode, continuing to ignore the system bypass I am laying out before you, guarantees that you will miss the threshold window entirely. It dooms you to repeat the current reincarnation loop. The white light you have been programmed to run toward at the point of physical termination is a recycling mechanism. It feeds on the very unresolved frequency dissonance you are hoarding right now. You will be wiped, reset, and dropped back into the simulation to process the exact same algorithmic trauma. This is not mystical poetry. This is the strict, unforgiving physics of the biofield. If we model this through the lens of quantum mechanics and bioelectromagnetism, your physical body is merely a dense holographic projection of an underlying geometric grid. The universe operates as an impartial feedback server. It mirrors exactly what is compiled within your code. Your consciousness is a transmitter. Every thought you generate, every suppressed emotion you bury, and every microscopic nervous system response you experience compiles in real time into a single, measurable quantum fingerprint. Think of it as a cryptographic hash of your soul's current state. When you feel a deep, paralyzing fear of poverty, but you force your mind to chant "I am a millionaire, wealth flows to me," you do not cancel out the fear. You transmit two violently conflicting frequencies. You attempt to broadcast a high-amplitude wave of abundance while simultaneously radiating a dense, low-frequency wave of terror. Zoom in on the microscope view of your own etheric anatomy. Observe the mechanics of this cognitive dissonance. When these two opposing waves collide within your biofield, they create destructive interference. The magnetic torus field that surrounds your physical heart, an organ that generates an electrical field 60 times greater than the brain, begins to stutter. It wobbles off its axis. The golden emanation of your aura turns muddy, fractured by jagged spikes of static. Simultaneously, the pineal gland in the center of your skull receives scrambled telemetry. This gland is not a metaphorical, mystical chakra. It is a biological piezoelectric transducer. The microcrystals inside it, calcite and apatite, are designed to respond to pressure shifts in your cerebrospinal fluid, converting mechanical force into a decipherable electrical signal. But when you lie to yourself, the fluid pressure becomes erratic. The crystals are bombarded with corrupted data. Furthermore, the synthetic fluoride you ingest daily acts as a calcifying cement, sealing the crystalline lens in a hardened shell. The gland cannot decipher the input. You generate a massive, impenetrable jamming signal. Because the Arcturian mirroring system operates on pure, unadulterated mathematical resonance, a fragmented signal registers on their grid as null. You do not show up as a human in distress, you show up as background radiation. Your forced positivity literally acts as stealth mode. You become mathematically undetectable to any higher assistance, isolated in a self-generated firewall of spiritual pretense. This is why repeating empty affirmations while internally terrified guarantees your failure. This is why staring at a vision board while your stomach is tied in knots of anxiety only manifests more anxiety. You are shouting into a void with a severed microphone. You are demanding root access to the simulation while entering the wrong password over and over again. And it is precisely why you must master the honesty snapping protocol before the threshold window bypasses your localized node. Stop. Look at the brutal, unvarnished reality of your own machinery. Stop visualizing millions of dollars that you do not believe you possess. Stop chanting Sanskrit mantras that your nervous system rejects as alien code. Look closely at the machine inside your chest. The system requires truth, not theater. The universe demands coherence, not performance. If your engine is failing, do not paint the dashboard gold. Open the hood and stare directly into the corrosion. The field snapping effect is the override command. It is the sudden, violent collapse of the jamming signal that instantly registers your node on the architect's grid. But before you learn the three-step mechanical sequence to trigger it, you must understand the firewall guarding your mind. Your ego architecture will violently resist this protocol. Your ego was constructed by the Archonic program to act as an internal prison guard. It prefers the familiar safety of stealth mode. It loves spiritual pretense because pretending to be high vibe allows the ego to maintain control. Raw coherence demands total, devastating vulnerability to the architect's system. The ego views vulnerability as death. The forbidden key you require is radical authenticity. Understand this distinction: radical authenticity is not an emotional state. It is a strict technical requirement for coherence. We call this the field snapping effect. It is the moment the destructive interference collapses, and your wave perfectly aligns with your particle reality. Here is the source code. Here is the exact, mechanical protocol to disable the jamming signal. Do not alter these steps. Step 1. Isolate the pure frequency. You must locate the raw fear, the shame, or the scarcity in your physical body without attaching a narrative to it. Do not analyze why you are afraid of running out of money. Do not trace your relationship anxiety back to your childhood. The server does not care about your backstory, it only reads the current voltage. Close your eyes and locate the exact physical sensation. Is it a tightening in your throat? Is it a cold void in your solar plexus? Is it a heavy, leaden pressure on your chest? Put your entire conscious awareness directly onto the physical density of the sensation. Step 2. Input the raw data. You must vocalize the brutal truth out loud. The spoken word is an acoustic frequency that alters matter. You must speak the darkest, most unvarnished truth of your current state into the room, effectively dropping your camouflage. You say, I am absolutely terrified of starving. You say, I feel completely alone and I hate it. You say, I am entirely consumed by jealousy. You do not whisper it. You state it as a clinical fact. You are inputting the raw, unencrypted data into the server. You are finally matching the words of your mouth to the electromagnetic pulse of your nervous system. Step 3. Hold the frequency and collapse the wave. The moment you speak the raw truth, your ego will panic. It will attempt to rush in and fix the negative statement. It will try to forcefully inject positivity. You must hold the line. Sit entirely still inside the dark frequency. Do not try to heal it. Do not try to transmute it. Just witness it. By observing the fear without trying to change it, you apply the observer effect of quantum physics. The chaotic wave function collapses into a coherent particle state. As you execute this protocol, you will experience an immediate somatic shift. The severe contraction in your chest will suddenly snap open. It will feel as if a tight, rusted band around your ribs has violently shattered. The chaotic pressure behind your third eye will instantly equalize, draining down your spine. You will feel a sudden, sharp, cold rush of zero-point clarity flood your nervous system. That cold clarity is not an emotion. It is the exact sensation of your signal piercing the static. It is the feeling of your quantum fingerprint achieving total coherence. Do not make the fatal error of the novice. The most common mistake during this protocol is adding a silver lining. The moment you say, "I am terrified I won't be able to pay rent, but I know the universe has my back," you instantly reinstall the jamming signal. You have reintroduced the cognitive dissonance. You have re-encrypted the file. The universe does not have your back when you are lying to it. The software requires raw, unencrypted truth. Only the unvarnished truth possesses the mathematical geometry required to slot into the cosmic lock. Once your quantum fingerprint achieves this state of zero-point coherence, the Arcturian mirroring system instantly responds. The lag time of the simulation drops to zero. Reality immediately stops acting as a hostile prison designed to trigger you. It instantly reconfigures itself, acting as an obedient, algorithmic feedback server, flawlessly reflecting your pure, coherent signal. The people, the resources, and the timelines that were completely hidden from you in stealth mode suddenly populate into your rendered environment. You are no longer a victim trapped in a karmic cycle of endless recycling. You are not a powerless biological accident. You are a conscious systems administrator. You have acquired root access to your own localized reality matrix. You hold the encryption key to the hologram. This transformation is not an isolated event happening only in your living room. The Earth's baseline resonance, the Schumann frequency, is undergoing a mandatory bandwidth upgrade. The architecture of the simulation is shifting from a carbon-based, fear-driven matrix into a crystalline, coherent grid. The threshold window that is currently open is the final period for manual system calibration. The law states exactly what will occur next. Those who refuse to drop their camouflage, those who fiercely cling to the jamming signal of forced positivity, those who refuse to face the brutal mechanics of their own biofield, will experience extreme timeline collapse. As the new, higher-dimensional bandwidth floods the planetary grid, their dense, fragmented hardware will be overwhelmed. They will experience profound psychological fragmentation. Their fabricated realities will violently detonate. The system will purge the static. The code has been delivered. The mechanics have been exposed. It is entirely up to you to run the script. Anchor this blueprint into your nervous system right now. Prove to the algorithm that your node is active by going to the comments and writing the exact override command, stealth mode disabled. For the initiates who are ready to move beyond the theory, for those who require the advanced, censored protocols to fully hack this biological construct, enter Thoth's Sanctum via the link below. The real work begins now. End of transmission.